Hey guys, Nick here. Just doing a review today of the Logitech DiNovo keyboard. This is a keyboard that retails for $100, but currently with the holiday season going on, you can really find this for a really nice deal. I believe Mac Mall still has this going on for $40 for the Black Friday sale, and they've actually had that going for a couple of weeks now, so it wouldn't surprise me if it went on for a few more weeks until the Christmas season really comes to a close. But this is a wireless keyboard. There's just a USB receiver that plugs into the computer. And overall, I really do like this. Now, since this is a keyboard and there's really not too much review about it, this isn't going to be so much as a review as much as a compare and contrast to the Apple keyboard and which one I really think is the one to buy if you need to buy a keyboard. Because I do realize being the holiday season, a lot of you will be going out getting MacBooks, getting Mac Minis, that don't always come with a keyboard, and you will be needing to buy some accessories. So let's just jump into the review. I'll tell you what my thoughts are as to which is the really better keyboard. So let's jump up to the close-up cam right about now. Okay guys, so when it comes to keyboards, in my opinion, there are really three main categories that set the generic keyboards apart from the really fantastic keyboards. Those three categories being, first and foremost, functionality, second, ergonomics, and the least important would be aesthetics of the keyboard, simply meaning how well does it fit in with the rest of your system design-wise. Now the first one I do want to touch on is the functionality. The DiNovo really offers a lot of functionality that the Apple keyboard doesn't, mainly through the Logitech Control Center. With the Logitech Control Center you can remap any of the function keys, and by remapping I mean taking any of the F13, F19 for example, which aren't even programmed on the Apple keyboard, and really setting them to run whatever you want. Default, they are set for cover flow, expose, spaces, iTunes, mail, Safari, and the calculator. It's very easy to change that though. Say you don't use Safari, you prefer Firefox, you just pull up the Logitech Control Center, switch it to the Safari button automatically opening Safari to automatically opening Firefox with a function 18 key. Now, as far as functionality goes for a wireless keyboard, one of the biggest concerns most people have is how long is the battery going to last? With the DiNovo, yes, I have not run out of battery life. Yes, I have not tested the full life of the battery for the simple fact that Logitech quotes this as having a 3-year battery life. And if I were to test a 3-year battery life, I'd be doing this probably after the keyboard is outdated, not being produced, and really have no reason for the review. But as far as the keyboard goes, I really like the functionality. I like the Logitech Control Center that you can easily pull up the panel, switch around whatever you like. The only downside as far as functionality goes is the fact that any hotkeys you might use, such as the Command Shift Eject, which turns off the screen display, and I might be mistaken, I believe it's actually Control Shift Eject. Any hotkey using the eject button does not work. Now, this is something Logitech is aware of. I've talked to their technical support a few different times. I've been going back and forth with emails, and it is something that they're trying to work out. There is a way around that where if you don't use Logitech Control Center for the keyboard, they do still work, but unfortunately without Logitech Control Center, you can't remap any of the buttons. If you have a mouse like I do, the MX Revolution, you can't set any of the hotkeys for that. So, as far as not being able to use the eject, that's kind of a small thing for me, but it's still worth noting. So let's go ahead and pull up the Apple keyboard now and look at the functionality of it. Okay guys, so here we are up close with the Apple keyboard. You all have seen this, you all know it, most of you have used one of these. The thing I like about the Apple keyboard over the DiNovo is you do get the two USB ports on both ends. Now, I will actually be comparing the wireless edition also, which I don't have, but I have had in the past. And I must say, the wireless edition, the thing I don't like about it as far as Apple goes is, Apple gives you that much of the keyboard. You don't get the 10 key with the wireless edition. And I really wish Apple would really just come out with that, for the fact that a lot of us do use the 10 pad quite a bit, and not being able to have that really is kind of a drawback, making someone like me, for example, go somewhere else for a nice wireless keyboard with the 10 pad. Also to note, the F13 through F19, although they can be programmed it's nowhere as straightforward as it is going through the Logitech software to program on the DiNovo. So that is one thing I definitely like better about the DiNovo, is that it's a lot easier to set the hotkeys up. One thing also is that the downside I had about the DiNovo was the fact that the Command Shift Eject doesn't work to kill the displays. Of course, it is going to work with the Apple, but if you're not someone who uses that a lot or uses the Control Option Eject, or I believe it's Command Option Eject, to put the computer to sleep, you really aren't going to be gaining much by having the Apple keyboard over the DiNovo. Okay guys, so the second part was ergonomics of the keyboard. Now for this part I'll actually be doing a lot of pretty much photos showing you side by side profile shots, just generalized of how well it works. Now personally for me, I like the Logitech just for the fact that it does have a nice sloped metal part right here, so it's not as jagged as the Apple is, right, with the edge just pretty much coming to an end. The other thing I like about the DiNovo is it has a slightly higher rise to it, and I just felt that to be more of a natural typing level than the Apple, which I personally find just a little too low for me. I wish it was just elevated a little bit more towards the end. Now, if you're someone that travels a lot, the Apple definitely does have the benefit because it does have the sleeker profile where it's pretty much just a slab of aluminum, and then at the very edge you have the USB and the pretty much where the wire is going to go into the keyboard that runs along the end. But as far as ergonomics go, in my opinion, the Logitech is better. It just has a more natural feel to it. I like the slope of it. It doesn't just pretty much die off. It gives you a little bit of place to put your palms. Now, on that same note, the metal here, you will have to worry about getting a little bit of residue on it, a little dirt, grit, and you will have to wipe that off. Now, with the Apple keyboard, you also have to worry about that, and with the white keys, it really does show. But just because your palms rest on this, you will definitely find that you get little spots that you're going to get a little bit of residue buildup on. But let's go ahead and jump up to the third category, which is aesthetics. Okay guys, now since aesthetics is such a personal opinion as far as if you prefer the aluminum and white keys on the Apple keyboard or the aluminum and glossy black finish on the DiNovo, what I did is I went ahead and just took snapshots of both the Apple keyboard and the DiNovo up against the iMac. The reason for this is lately Apple has been pretty much going with the aluminum and black look with all their higher end models being the MacBook Pro, the iMac, and of course the aluminum enclosure on the Mac Pro. So when it comes to those, I definitely think the DiNovo has the edge just for the fact that it's ahead of the Apple keyboard, since Apple has pretty much all but ditched the white polycarbon look. The only computers that really have it left are the MacBook and the Mac Mini. So if you have one of those, the Apple keyboard probably will look better with those, but if you have the MacBook Pro or the iMac or even the Mac Pro, I really think the DiNovo is going to complement it much better just because it does have that aluminum and black look. And in my opinion, the black just looks a little sleeker. It doesn't show as much grit and dirt as the white keys do on the aluminum Apple keyboard. But guys, overall, this is pretty much me going to wrap this up. And for my money, if I were to buy one of them, price being the same, I would definitely go with the DiNovo, just for the fact that I like the layout better. I definitely think it's more ergonomic to type on, and it just feels better to type with. And also, it just looks better with my system. As you guys can tell behind me, all my stuff is silver and black, and the DiNovo really just complements that really nicely. So my money, that's going towards the DiNovo. But guys, this is Nick. I do hope you enjoyed this review, and I will catch you guys later.